Hey everybody, we are here today. I'm gonna do an update on HRCYED, 6 months into HRCYED, and we'll see where we are at. So, this is my analog version of how I'm keeping track of HRCYED. I'm not a real techie person, so I don't do spreadsheets and all that other good stuff. So I created, if you've seen any of my videos previously, I've created a reading journal for all my reading fun this year, and my HRCYED, all the prompts are in it. So let's jump in to our very first page. Is our bingo board. You can see I'm not quite halfway done, but I'm in a good spot for being halfway through the challenge. Some of these I just need like one little prompt to get completed. So we'll go through it again. 6 months in. By the 100s, I need a 600 page and 700 page. I don't read really long books, and so this one's kind of been a challenge for me. I have kind of penciled in some ideas, but I haven't yet got to them. So we're pretty status quo with this challenge, this part of the challenge. 24-hour readathon. I did it August 31st through September 1st. It started at 8 a.m. and went through 3 a.m., 19 hours, and I read 7 books. Some of these were pretty small, pretty quick. 120 pages, 136 pages, 110 pages, but that's what we did. So this part, if they've got a yellow band along the side of them, they're completed. So my 24-hour readathon is completed. Subgenre, I did horror. I've completed that one. So we did the subgenres of dark romance, creepy kid, monster, killer, psychological, and gore. So those were all done. Series staircase, I need one more, and it's the duology by Nevessa Allen, The Lights Out and Caught Up. And I have got this from my library once, and I guess it just wasn't the time. So I returned it, and I've got it on hold again. So yeah, I just need one to finish this prompt, which was surprising to me because I don't really do series. So I was kind of nervous of this part of the challenge going in. I don't typically read series because I don't want to keep up with all that. Award season, this is done. I kind of struggled with this, but I ended up just doing, I've got my winners, finalists, semifinalists, entrants, and the other 3 I just kind of did awards. TikTok Shop Book of the Year, Lincoln Award nominee. I kind of struggled with this, but all of these books have been awarded for something, so there's that. My TBR game, I did OCTBR for October. How many can I read the month of October? And I had these little prompts, and I did all but one. And the one prompt I didn't do was work over 50 years old. I had it penciled in, I just didn't get to it. So, yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with this. I read 7 books for this prompt, for this challenge, and for the month of October. So that's pretty good. So that challenge is done, again with the yellow. The last 10 years, I did the full gamut of 2026 to 2015, and I'm just waiting on 2026 now. So that won't be completed until after the first of the year. Disability representation, did all those. I finished those back in September. All the adaptations, I kind of thought this was going to be a challenge, but it turned out to be pretty okay for me. YouTube is your friend with this one because I was able to watch like the plays and the musicals and things like that on YouTube. And I did read the book and watch the musical, watch the play, watch the TV show. I did both of them throughout all these. So this one's done. This was fun because it was fun to read the book and to watch the movie. It was fun to, read the book and watch the animation. It was kind of fun to immerse yourself into the adaptations of certain titles. So, Heritage Months, I'm doing this during the month. So we've got July, Disability, September, Hispanic, November, Indigenous Heritage. And we are in December, and there's not another one until February for Black History. So February, March, April, May, and June, I'll finish these up. Translations, I'm having a little trouble with that. I started off strong, and then now I'm kind of stuck. I am reading one that I think is a translation right now. I've got to double check it, but I'm in the middle of a book right now that's translation. Best Offer Wins, I think is by a Asian artist, an Asian writer, I believe, but I don't know for sure. But so still working on this one. My Around the World, I'm down to Australia. Now all this is colored in, and when I first started this spread, I started by coloring everybody in, and I was like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. But Australia, I had already colored in. So, but Australia is the one I need. Everybody else is already taken care of. So, and this is just a little check mark to match that I have hanging around. I stuck it in here, so when I get Australia, I'll be able to check mark that off. So, almost done with this spread, this challenge. Rainbow covers. I've got orange and gold silver left to do. This one started out strong and really easy, but you know, I think the whole point of this challenge is you start out strong because you have all these options throughout HRCYED to put a book that you read. And then as you start filling it in, your options become less and less. So it's like, where am I going to stick this? And I've read, for the last couple months, I've read like 2 or 3 books that don't even go into HRCYED at all, because I don't have room for them, because I've already completed that task or whatever. So, but Rainbow, I'm almost done. I've got 2 more to do on that. Read the Quote, I did To Infinity and Beyond. Since it was kind of a short quote and kind of simple, I mean, to and were 2 of my words. Excuse me, I added the bonus, the personal challenge for me, is books have to be a connection to movies, toys, space, or art. And so I've got all 4 of those going on. Spooky Creatures, I kind of thought this was going to be a more of a challenge for me as well, because I don't really read spooky creatures. I don't really get into zombies and vampires and things like that, but I think just because I really focused on this and like the horror genre, I just really focused on it. It's like, okay, I really need to focus on this, because I was kind of nervous that I wouldn't be able to do this. But we got this done. Become the Avatar. I've got 3, Earth, Air, and Fire. I'm in the middle of a book that has water all over the cover and down the spine. It's got a painted spine and all that. Painted book edges and all that, that's water, and I really want to use it for water, but I'm in the middle of it, and I just kind of, for whatever reason, put it down, and I haven't picked it back up. So I'm kind of like hanging on, because I know I need to finish that book. So 1 more for the Avatar. Animals Are Better. I need zoo animals and farm animals, and I kind of have an idea for both of these. They're both physical books, which take me a little longer to read. But I do have an idea for both of these. So I'm just 2 away from that one. Complete a readathon. I kind of did 2. My first one was Banned Book Weeks, to read banned books during Banned Book Week, which is October 5th through 11th of this year. I read 3. DNF'd 1. My hope was to read 6. So, but I did read banned books that week, so there you go. My other kind of readathon was to read about writing. I'm kind of in the background trying to write a book, and some of these books about writing have been on my TBR for a while. So I've got, this one's on hold at the library, Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, and the book You Were Born to Write. I have that physical copy, and then I have 1 more blank and I've got a couple ideas for this one. So still working on this little readathon. Queer Alphabet, I've got everything but intersex, and I'll be honest, I almost cheated. I just read a book Slippery Beast. It's about eels and the black market of eels and the history of eels, and it talked a lot about the mating of eels and all that. And they talked about it possibly being intersex, and I was like, ooh, you said that word, I might use this. But I opted not to use it for this prompt. I'm gonna be for real. I have an actual physical book about this topic, and so I'm just one from completing this spread. HRCYED 1, my favorite prompt. I didn't participate in HRCYED 1, so I chose 2. The first one was to read a book that features a recipe that isn't a recipe book and then make the recipe. So I read Love and Saffron, and I chose the one bean salad. It's based on a recipe from the book. I have yet to make this. I have all the stuff in my cabinet. I just haven't made it yet. So I haven't marked this off as done because I haven't made it yet. But it's here. It's ready for me to make and ready to be checked off. Read a book for every season in that season. Summer, fall, and now we're coming into winter, so I need to find a winter book to read during the winter. So these were my HRCYED number 1 prompts that I really liked. BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, Person of Color. I've got this completed. I've finished it back in September. Yeah, got that all done. New releases. I kind of thought that this was going to be a bigger struggle than it has turned out to be, mainly because I don't keep up with the new releases, and I don't keep up with, what's coming out next and all that kind of stuff. But I've managed to catch everything in their month. We're in December now, and so I haven't got anything planned for it, but I've got a few weeks to tackle that. But everything else I've surprisingly been able to tackle in the month. So that, again, was surprising to me because I don't keep up with new releases. But I've got a couple that have been talked about coming out after the first year in February and in March, and so I've got them penciled in. Challenge yourself. I didn't do a reading challenge with this, but my challenge was to post 15 book-related videos on my new channel here, and got that done. That was kind of like, I didn't want to read more books because I had added some different caveats to, like, the HRCYED 1 prompt I did 2, and the readathon I did 2, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to work on this. This was a challenge for me to work on the videos for this channel to get it up and going, and there you have it. The next prompt is nonfiction. Nonfiction is my favorite genre, I would say, so I completed this fairly early in August. It's not hard for me to find nonfiction that I like, so. The bonus prompts, I'm not doing so hot on that, mainly because I'm running behind on finding them. To no fault of anybody's but myself, I don't hang out on Instagram very much, and I don't do Reddit or what all those others are, Discord or whatever. I don't do all that. So I'm kind of lax in finding the prompts, but I did manage to do August and September. Here we are in December, and so October, November, December I haven't done, but I still wrote them in, and I might complete them, I might not. Here's through June, and then the last prompt for HRCYED was Q's Reviews. Got all that done, the Cozy Mini, the full vlog, and the Reels and Shorts. So I'm making pretty good progress. I'm pretty proud of my progress through this challenge. And yeah, like I said, we're 6 months in. I am ready to start the new year to tackle some of these other random, like, one-off things that I need to just get finished and get out of the way. I'll be tackling that as soon as I can, 2026. And then this will take me a while to complete because it goes through June. I've got to find a dang Australia book. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with this. Again, halfway through, and I feel like I'm about halfway completed with the challenge. So, there you have it. Thanks for joining me. I will be back soon. I just recently got a new camera and a new setup, and so I'm learning that, and with the hope and plans to be able to do more videos with you guys. So anyways, thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.